Senator Cornyn? You got here early. You get.
Mr. Corliss, thank you. Senator Casey's asked most of my questions. How we can fill the gaps left by CFIUS reform on the export side, export controls and the like. But recently, colleagues and I went to Taipei to Taiwan Semiconductor, where they use Dutch lithography machinery, which is enormously expensive and sophisticated machinery, to build the most advanced microchips in Taiwan. But I know at different times the People's Republic of China and the CCP have attempted to purchase that kind of machinery, and that I know that there's been discussions about whether they should be able to gain access to that. But in the absence of formal or legal controls on the sale and export of machines made in other countries, what tools, if any, are available to the U.S. government to try to deter the sale of some of this advanced equipment that would allow China conceivably at some point to catch up with the rest of the world?
Senator Cornyn, thank you for that question, and thanks again for the opportunity to meet yesterday in advance of this hearing, and for your kind remarks and your opening statement, introduction to me, I should offer. Perhaps it's less appropriate for me to talk about tools available to the U.S. government and more appropriate for me to speak to the need for the IC and for OIA in particular to make sure that we are providing, that we have our collection priorities aligned such that they can ensure that we get better insight into what China's gaps are, what their capability gaps are, what gaps they're trying to close, and then similarly to ensure that that OIA, in concert with other IC colleagues, is producing strategic analysis that informs any policies that that Secretary Yellen or others in the government might take on to try and counter this challenge. I think I would also add here that this is another example of making sure that we have really strong and robust relationships with our foreign partners, because to the extent that we may not have tools that we can use to counter this challenge, they may very well, or it could be that it's an issue that falls out of our jurisdiction, in which case partnerships that we have with some of our European allies, I think, are increasingly, and some of our allies such as Japan and India and Australia are increasingly important.